this is, you know where this goes. The first take, I'm in his face, and that dude goes, woo, and rips these chains out of the ground, and everyone goes, okay, get the third chain. And he was just like, man, give it to me. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to give it to you. You give it to me back, because that's how much we love each other, you know?
Such an honor to introduce our lovely, wonderful, beautiful, multi-talented guest, Josh Segarra. Please join us. Oh my God.
What's up? You guys. I appreciate that very kind intro. It's good to see you guys on the virtual on the only way we're seeing people now, on the virtuals, you know?
I know. Right. I know. We're making it happen until we can finally all be together, you know, in person. Hopefully next year at conventions? Question mark.
100%. My plan is, what do we say? We're gonna get together one day in the future, pop in the ring. Maybe do a live show that way. That'd be very fun.
Listen, okay. So since you're talking about wrestling, I say right off the bat, Josh,
jump in.
Yes. Okay. What was the first match that you remember watching? Or even like maybe a pay-per-view or a wrestler?
So the first memory I have of wrestling, the first match I remember, I don't know how old I was, but it was one of my first memories I have as a kid, was Muta and Sting. Was Muta spitting the green mist in Sting's face. So I've gone back and looked up what it was, and now I can't remember. I should have done it right before I saw you guys. But I think it was a Wrestle War, or it was something from the 80s, because I got into wrestling because of my Uncle Junior in Puerto Rico. He loves it. We'll still text each other and update each other what's going on, and we had a plan to get to WrestleMania last year, and because he's in Florida, so he got me into it. So it started there. It was everything I loved as a kid. I only played with Ninja Turtles and wrestlers, and then when I went about 5 or 6, when I was 5 or 6, I had 2 VHSs. I had WrestleMania 4 tournament and WrestleMania 6, the Ultimate Challenge. So Warrior Hogan, the Ultimate Challenge. And I remember vividly Macho winning the tournament. I remember him beating, he wasn't Gang at the time. I remember $1 Million Man in the tournament, of course. And I just remember Macho at the end. I remember Hogan running down and saving him. And, of course, now we know all the history. And Hogan had just left the company and he's coming back. And, we know all the real stuff going on in real life. He's on the street. What was he doing? Thunder in Paradise at the time. So, yeah, WrestleMania 4 and 6. Those are my 2.
Awesome. Okay, so you briefly mentioned Sting. So what are your thoughts on Sting going to AEW? Are we for it, against it?
Woo! That's where I'm at with it. Just woo all day. I was just so I hadn't reacted that way watching something, because now I'll watch wrestling a little differently. I try to get to every pay-per-view live. I'll pop on the network, My wife knows one Sunday every 4 months. So I'll be like, man, there's a pay-per-view on tonight. She's like, oh, nice. It's fun. Like, actually, catch her on the storyline. So when it comes to the weekly stuff, I'll always just check the interwebs after. And it's always pretty clear what's going on. If you need to go on, and I've got everything DVR'd. So what was it? Sting premiered. He popped out at like 9:32. So at 9:38, all of a sudden, I get 3 texts, just woos, and it's like, wait, what's going on here? I go online, I see Sting's face pop up, but that could mean anything, and I go, wait, what's going on here? Of course, pop on AEW, and so on. And it's just, I have so much respect for those guys for building the brand the way they have, and just reaching for the stars and doing something that was thought to be unimaginable. And look at this, the Stinger wants to be there, and you get a legend, and you get somebody like that with status to come in and just play around and just create new storylines with. Good on them, and good on the Stinger. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like any company that you have, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, like Cody.
Yeah.
How do you fail, right? How do you fail? It's been such a fun product to watch.
100%. You know, I just, you know, I got to be, they allowed me to be a little part of All In, and just sitting backstage and watching these guys and just seeing, man, that's why, you know, people ask me, you know, like, oh, you still watch wrestling? I'm like, you know, for me, it's something that I now watch it differently, because I watch them as artists. You know, I watch them as performers. I watch them as professionals that are at the top of their game, that they've reached heights that people can only dream of. And they put their bodies on the line 300 nights out of the year, if not 340. You know, they're on the road, you know, so yeah, you know, it's just to see them build this thing. How could they fail? You know, you've got guys that care, you got guys that are working hard, and that's from the top of the card to the bottom. You know that everybody involved is just putting their heart on the line, and you can't fail like that. When you put your heart on the line, you even if you do quote unquote learn some things, that's okay. At least you took your shots. You know, like you know, all those old sayings. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Proud of these guys for taking their shot, because look at what they're doing. It's incredible.
Amen.
Incredible.
Yeah. So we got to ask all fans of wrestling. I feel like we have to ask this question at least. Was there ever a point that you aspired to be a professional wrestler? Have you ever done any wrestling training or schools?
You mean as if right now I'm still not dreaming of being a professional wrestler? Like, you see that question, if it was like historical. Like, if somebody told me tomorrow, Josh, we'd let you turn it all in to go to the Performance Center or come play with us at AEW and start from the bottom, that'd be a long conversation with my wife, with my parents, with my sons. I'd be like, what do you think about Pop hanging up the boots and trying something new? Nah, you know, as a kid, as I think all of us did this, right? I was always in front of a mirror practicing different promos, you know. When I was young, it was Hogan, it was the Warrior, it was Macho. And then when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, that's the Attitude Era. So all of a sudden, you know, you're practicing all the rock tilts, and you're practicing your beer crashes in the backyard, and you're practicing your stunner. And, you know, I'd be lying if I don't think there's a little bit of a correlation between what I get to do today as a profession and me loving this business so much as I do. You know, it's always been a part of me. I think it'll always be a part of me.
So, I mean, okay, I believe that Chris Hemsworth is now training to be Hulk Hogan, right, in an upcoming movie. Josh, who do we have to call? Because they're probably looking for a Macho Man.
Listen, let me tell you something. When I read on, where did I read it? I read it somewhere they were doing that. I put out one phone call. I called my manager. I said, I don't know when. I don't know how, but I'm going to be on that thing. See, this is the problem, though. See, it worked out okay on Arrow because I had a partner in Stephen who we can call him a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like 6'3", 220, a solid muscle. So when I showed up, I was like, we got a beast here. Well, let's make this guy cerebral, right? I don't know if we can make Macho Man cerebral. You know what I'm saying? I think I gotta put on my 75 pounds of just solid muscle. But man, did you see his picture he dropped the other day? Chris did. Man, he just has to. Oh my God, he's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it. The Hulkster, I think, put it up there, and he's just gonna kill it, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. No, and don't worry, I'm putting feelers out there for Amell's show for Heels. And I'm putting feelers out there for the Hogan movie.
All right. All right.
We're rooting for you.
Yeah, we'll put it on. Okay, so let's say that you do tomorrow decide to become a professional wrestler. The opportunity presents itself. What would your entrance music be? Do you have a theme that comes to mind?
All right, so I'm Puerto Rican, okay?
Okay.
So if you're asking me on like what I think I'd carry, I think I need to carry the legacy of the Boricuas. Savio Vega, you feel me? I think I need to carry on the legacy of Carlito. And I probably got to just bring something back, maybe we come out with the whole crew, we all come back together and they're my legends. and I come out and I get to spit a promo about spitting in the face if you don't want to be cool, like kind of just bringing back all the OG stuff.
Yeah.
I think that'll be my move. My move.
Love it.
What was it exactly? Now it was like, I spit in the face if you don't want to be cool. Was that what it was?
Close, yeah. I like it. I felt that. Love it.
All right, we got to switch gears a little bit here because there's a lot to get through. So, so in the past year, you've had the opportunity to work with some legends, especially RuPaul and Dolly Parton. Are there any memorable moments that especially stand out to you? Besides all of them?
Yeah, right?
So many memorable moments. Okay, I'll tell you guys one that okay, so we go down to Atlanta last summer, 2 summers ago, to shoot Christmas on the Square, and that was with Dolly Parton. And we walk into this. She's she's just mesmerizing. So we walk into this warehouse, transformed into Christmas heaven. Okay, and all of us are just wide-eyed, and we have all of our coats and our scarves, and the air conditioning is broken. So
Oh my God.
we're all like sitting there, and we're just like, man. So we're starting to sweat a little bit, and like we're shooting this scene, and everyone's like, "Ooh, it is hot." So up runs, the makeup crew and the hair, and they're fixing us all up. So we're there. And now on that movie, I got to work with some legends: Christine Baranski, Jennifer Lewis, Treat Williams. Just people that I've admired for so long. So everyone's being polite because it's our first day or second day. It's early. And in walks Dolly, and everyone's like, Dolly's coming, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're going to get to see her now. And we had seen her before, but she walks in. If not the first thing out of her mouth, she goes, Now, Sam, who was our producer, we're going to have to take care of this air conditioning. And all of them go, oh, thank you, Dolly. Thank you so much. We're just like saying the thing we were all thinking, but like, you're the boss, so just thank you so much for taking care of us, Oh man.
Perfect.
Yeah, she was really great. And Rue and I, we just laughed our behinds off, truthfully. Like, I've got so many good memories with him. We just had such a good time, and we were building this. It was so funny because he loved it so much, and Michael Patrick King loved the project so much that for me, I was so in love with it that I was just so honored for them to let me be a part of the story that they wanted to tell. So for Rue, I just felt like that's my homie. We got to build this relationship, and I got to learn a lot about him, and he got to learn a lot about me. And that guy right there, that guy has just worked his whole life to get what he has, and he's broken so many walls and barriers that, I have so much respect for him. And he's just a funny cat.
I was going to say, one thing that Dolly and Rue have in common is they seem to be aging backwards. Yeah, is this fair to say? Like, RuPaul looks younger than me. I'm like, how are you? Like, what is happening?
Come on, and there's no day you pay more attention than when Rue is telling you about your suit that you're wearing. I show up in a suit, and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, so I love the way that's cut on you, and I'm just like, tell me more. Tell me how this fits, sir. Tell me more.
Tell me. Yeah.
Oh my.
So amazing. So jealous. So amazing.
And also, fun side note, after this, you and I should swap Treat Williams stories because I have a good one for you.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear a Treat Williams story. I love Treat. That's my guy. That's my guy.
All right, so we'd be remiss, obviously, Josh, if we didn't speak about Arrow. And we wanted to know, were you a fan of the franchise before you had the opportunity to join? And as an actor, do you feel more pressure joining a show that's essentially already in progress?
I wasn't watching Arrow before. I'd caught episodes here and there, and I'd known exactly who Stephen was because I was at SummerSlam at Barclays for his match. Yeah. Isn't that funny? That was a year before. I was sitting there watching. I went solo to that show. I was out of town, And I got back in town that morning, and I just told my wife, I was like, babe, I'm going to SummerSlam tonight. I bought a ticket that day on StubHub, went by myself, and just sat right. Oh man, just had the best time. You know, it was funny because even though I wasn't a quote unquote fan, I had so much respect for what they were doing because they were building this world, right? And Arrow was the first boots to the ground superhero show on television. So it was a franchise that didn't exist before that. So my sister was a huge fan. Brother was a huge fan. So I was coming off of a show that I did on Broadway called On Your Feet. And I was coming up to my year-end contract. And I went and shot a pilot that didn't get picked up. So when I came back, we got the news that it didn't get picked up on like a Friday. And they called me about Arrow on Monday. And so that long story, basically told my wife was 7 months. My wife was 7 months pregnant. On a Monday, I auditioned. They called me on like Wednesday, said I got the job. Spoke to my bosses on Friday, and we were in Vancouver a week later.
Wow.
So we had never been to Vancouver. And they were basically just prepping us to start the season. So the second part of your question, you know, that was the first time. And I've now done it a few times. So I give credit to Arrow being the first time that I came in as a guest, but I was coming in as a guest that was going to be there for the whole year. So I had done guest spots before, and that's one thing. You come in, you do your job, you're prepared, but your main service is to move the story along for the actors that are telling the story. With this, it was a little different because I think that when I spoke to Mark and Wendy, who were the producers of the show, when I spoke to them, I got the job. They told me they wanted me to be the Wrath. They wanted me to be the Arrow as the Wrath is to Batman. So the first thing I did was I went and got. They sent me the Wrath comic, and that was very cool. And then I see in the press. Now I'm going on a tangent, but
tangent away.
Okay, deal. Then I see in the press that I am playing Adrian Chase. Josh Segarra cast as Adrian Chase in new season of Arrow, and I go, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!" Even though I just spoken to Mark and Wendy, and they said I will be the big bad of the season. You're going to be the Wrath of Batman. I now see online, I'm going to be Adrian Chase. Cool. I go to the comic book store. I buy all the Vigilante comics. I buy all the Adrian Chase stuff I could find. And I'm swagged out at home. I'm preparing. And then I call Mark, like, I don't know, whenever I was out there. And I was like, I'm ready to go, man. Vigilante, check. He's like, what are you talking about, Josh? I'm like, Adrian Chase. He's like, stop it. Stop reading the Vigilante comics. You're playing a guy named Prometheus. We're taking the moniker of Adrian Chase, and we're going to name him Prometheus, and we're going to kerfluffle the whole thing, and it's going to be incredible. So
Kerfuffle.
We're going to kerfuffle the whole thing, and it's going to be incredible.
I love it.
So we get to the show, and I knew my job. My job was to, as an actor, it's always to play each moment sincerely, but I knew what they brought me out there to do, and that was to poke and prod the Green Arrow. So of course that's in the writing. But for me, I go, okay, how can I best do this? As Josh, how can I best do this? And as Adrian Chase, how can I best do this? So for Josh was out there with his 7-month pregnant wife. They'd never been to Vancouver before. We had no friends. So as Josh, what I do when that happens is I just focus on my work. I have a really good support unit that has my back. And I walked right up to Stephen Amell and I said, what's up, bro? I saw you at Barclays. You killed it in the match. You as Casey Jones, Ninja Turtles, that's my shit, okay? I was like, bro, I am here to make you look like a big dog. You feel me? And we laughed, and man, that's one of my guys right there. And then, you just kind of figure it out. And I told Mark and Wendy, I was like, look, because I would get 2 to 3 scripts ahead of where we were. But I needed to know a little further than that so I could kind of track how crazy I was going to get along the way. And so at like episode 6, 7, 8, we had a conversation and they told me we were at like a 4 or 5 crazy. And then before episode 15, which was the mask off onto the cell phone. They called me the week before we started shooting, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna reveal you this episode. We're out of 10. Like, let's just get crazy." And I said, "Okie dokie," and the rest was history. The rest is history.
Okie dokie. You're
Right.
Okie
I love it.
Ruffled, okie dokie.
Okie dokie. I just noticed your shirt. Now I'm like looking at it. Is that the Steiner?
Of course it is. Steiner Brothers.
It's so funny. I wish I knew the full story, but one of my cousins went to a school in Michigan with Scott Steiner, and he said Scott used to always like cheat off of him in math class. So I'm wondering if that's where Steiner math came from. We're gonna need to get this full story, right? We're gonna need to find out. I know.
That's absolutely what we got to find out. That's awesome.
I can't believe I didn't know that. That's great.
Oh yeah, my cousin did.
That's really funny.
So, but before we pivot into something else, is there a superhero or a super villain, in the Arrowverse, outside of the Arrowverse, any verse that you feel that you can most relate to, as Josh?
Oh man, now you got me thinking. I mean, there's something about. See, I like playing bad guys. Okay, so I don't want to just pick a bad guy because in my real life, there's nothing I hold more near and dear. I'm more proud of than my boys. Than being like a dad. I truly like, and that's why I like that I get to play bad dudes. You feel me? Because I feel like I'm like releasing something that's inside. So that way, when I come home, I'm a really good diaper changer. I'm incredible at like delivering pouches. Nah, man. I think I loved Gambit as a kid. I was a big Gambit. I was like a big Gambit mark. Yeah, I don't know what it was about, right? Yeah, I don't know what it was about him, but like, I think it was the accent.
It's because he's hot and Cajun.
That's it. The Cajun. He's hot and Cajun. He always had the best coat. Like, I bet that was like a very nice, like Burberry coat. Like.
I mean, he has one of the to me, he has one of the dumbest like tricks ever. I'm like, that's not gonna do anything, but look how good he looks doing it.
That's the thing. I think because it was like I liked magic as a kid. So I think they were just like sitting in a room and they're like, all our magic nerdy kids, we have to give them somebody that can like do something with
They
these
delivered,
things.
man.
Here you go, nerds. We give you Gambit.
Thank you.
Weren't they making a Gambit movie, or did they make it?
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm not sure. I heard about that.
I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're now going to pivot to something that I go extra nerdy about. So,
hit me.
I am a huge theater nerd, being a director by day. And also I do some combat training and things. So my first question is, have you trained? I saw you trained a little bit in some combat stuff. So I was wondering if you have any specializations or favorite weaponry, or maybe unarmed, that you've trained in that you really enjoy.
Oh, I wish I could. I wish I could humble brag and say I did, but I don't have any specializations. But it's funny, I'm talking to you guys. When I got to Arrow, let me backtrack. Okay. I've grown up doing fight choreography my whole life, right? In essence, as fans of the things we're fans of, if you're fans of superheroes or you're fans of wrestling, you're going to do fight choreography at an early age. I was walking out of church services, and there was like 6 of us that would be like NWO members, and we'd have a fully choreographed beatdown of like another church service member at like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like we were wolf pack, and we'd just like jump somebody, and we'd sell for each other, So I've worked with swords. On Arrow was the most fun. I got to really work with the bow and arrow. Yeah. Patricia, that's my homie over there. She's a gangster, and just seeing all the woodwork and just all the pieces that they have, and seeing the setup, I love that. I got to work with some ninja stars. When it came to the fight choreography stuff, James Benford strong coordinator out there, that first episode, he didn't know me from Sam, so I walked up to him and I was like, look, man, I want to play, and he's like, okay, man, well, we rehearse here. I was like, no, man, I want to play, like, tell me when rehearsals are, tell me what I can do. I'm not going to hinder the show. I'm not going to slow down production. Of course, my guy, Ryan, that guy's a ninja master. He's going to take care of all the things that he needs to take care of. But everything that I'm allowed to do, I want to do. Everything Steve does, let me try at least, I want to try. And that was it. By episode 1, every time the mask was on, if it's me. I told them, because they asked me, like, hey, if the mask is on, you don't have to come to work. And I was like, no. If the mask is on, it's me. And anything that's fight choreography that I can do, it's me. And that's how we brought it together, because
heck yeah.
I want to have, if I'm in a mask and I'm killing somebody, and then the next day we're going to go shoot district attorney stuff, I want to know what that felt like on set,
Yeah.
There was a really fun day we had where I killed a housewife with Prometheus. And that scene was so fun because it was just a really sweet little apartment with kids' toys and just obviously the set was gorgeous and looked amazing. And we were in there for about 6-7 hours. And that was the day that I learned a lot about my character. It's like, those are days that are essential for an actor, because you just kind of have to sit in space sometimes. And we used to do an acting exercise in college about like touching all, like before you do a show or an audition, you're familiarizing yourself with the space, you're touching it. So it's physical. So it's there. Sometimes when you see actors act, they're acting not in the space that they're in. And you go, no. There's a band playing right there. There's like a screaming match happening over there. And like, you don't want them to hear you. So all of a sudden those things start affecting what you're doing, So on Arrow, I loved it, man. And so I've gotten to play a lot of fun fight choreography stuff, and I just hope I get to keep doing it. I mean, that finale episode, me and Steve were sore for at least a week after, because the whole boat fight scene was us. That was me and him. There's no way. It's like how I tell people about wrestlers. I'm like, look, man, yes, it might be scripted, but you fake what they're doing. There's no way to fake Steve Amell holding me down on a boat with all his might, screaming in my face. My back, just holding myself up, was just like shaking just the whole time, because you feel it. But in the same way we did that episode that we did, where we were both in the chamber together, where he was chained down and Adrian Chase is in his safe, and I'm toying with him. The first time we run that scene, Steve feels the chains and he goes, we got to get stronger chains. And they were like, nah, those are the chains, and we'd already given up like the actual fake chains, and these were real chains. Like, no, we got to get stronger chains. And they're like, no, this is, where this goes. The first take, I'm in his face, and that dude goes, woo, and rips these chains out of the ground, and everyone goes, okay, get the strong chains. And he was just like, man, give it to me. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to give it to you. You give it to me back, because that's how much we love each other, because when you do those scenes, because we had each other's backs, you can go there, because he knows if he falls, I'm going to catch him. We can go there. And he'd do the same for me in a heartbeat. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it.
I love combat work. It's just, there's just so much trust involved. And like you're saying, you got to trust each other and know that everybody's going to have your back, because otherwise you cannot be safe. Like,
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. So kind of, I guess, tracking a little bit differently. So move more into theater things, because please,
I love it.
Okay. So having now been involved in so many professional theater productions, both on and off Broadway, what is your favorite thing about performing live theater as opposed to being on film? I mean, I probably know the answer, but.
Well, but speaking of, you do see what posters I have back there, right? That's a Liz Estrada Jones poster on the bottom.
Is that
and that's the dogfight poster right up there.
There you
It's dark,
go.
but that's and then I have a Gloria Estefan old record right there, right on the other wall.
Yup.
What do I love about it? I think in the theater is where you sharpen your tools. I think it's where you sharpen your teeth. It's where you cut your teeth. It's where you learn how to. If I didn't have the theater, what I was saying about tracking Prometheus would have never happened, because it was my experience in the theater where we go, okay, every day we check in at 7:30, we have half hour at 8 o'clock. Everybody out there paid $175 to have their night at the theater, to have their night to get to go to Broadway and dress up and go grab something on Restaurant Row. I would get off the train in Times Square or ride my bike to work. And if not all 7, I'm not lying, at least 5-6 nights out of the week, I got back to when I was in 8th grade and I came up here for the first time. You know, there's something about Times Square. I'm not one of those New Yorkers that talk shit about Times Square. I love that place. To me, it reminds me of my dreams. It makes me think of my dad, who was born in the Bronx and didn't get to go to Times Square. For me, going to do live theater is like part of my blood. It's just what I did as a kid, and it's how I fell in love with this thing called acting. And for me, to go on a stage and get to connect with people every night, and it just to get to have that experience, it's one of a kind. And to have that practice is one of a kind. You're doing 8 shows a week, you know, you're doing, and you got to show up every time. And there's a big difference when you show up to a theater and you just opened and you're selling out. And then, you know, it's the middle of winter and Christmas already happened and the theaters aren't filled up. And it's a different experience, right? But on the inside, nah, man. There's no feeling like going to the theater. And for me, I just will never forget that, you know? That's why I say it. To me, it didn't matter if it was the dog days of winter or if it was right after we opened. Once Dr. Footlights hit, you go, it doesn't matter how old you are. I turned back to being 9 years old, you know, singing The Wizard of Oz, you know. If I was a king of the forest.
I'm getting emotional. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Move on. I'm getting talk amongst yourself.
One of the things that I plan to do once the world like opens back up again. I mean, I know that obviously we have to wait till everything is safe, and I know they keep pushing back when theaters are opening, and completely understandable. I have to, this is a non-negotiable, see Beetlejuice on Broadway. And I know that Alex Brightman, who was, you know, the role of Beetlejuice, mentioned that it will be coming back. I don't think to the Winter Garden Theater, but it will be coming back. And that is on like one of my top things that I have to do. Besides seeing family, I got to go see Beetlejuice. I mean, have you had the chance to see it, Josh? Or are you familiar with the musical at all?
I love Beetlejuice. No, I love Beetlejuice. I saw it 3 times.
Oh, that's it?
And Alice, that's it, exactly. I'm sorry. I should have seen it 14, you know.
I mean, our buddy Steve has seen it 11.
Yeah,
I think.
yes.
Oh, my God. For me, that was In the Heights. Because In the Heights came out when I was in college. And I was always in the Heights. I was seeing it 2 or 3 times a week. No, Alex and Brightman and I were in an a cappella group together in college.
Really?
Alex is one of my dear friends.
Of course he went to Tish.
That's my guy. We were 2 tissues together. So no, I love Beetlejuice, man. And wait till you see it, because that show is really good. And you know, hey, you guys asked about the Logan movie. I definitely had a conversation. Like I told you guys earlier, I'm here in New York. I live in New York. I 100% want to be part of the community opening back up. You know, like I hope it works out with my schedule, and I hope someone gives me a shot. But let me be on stage when we open those theaters again. You know, like I fucking love my city, and I love the theater and my friends that aren't working right now, because they're trying to survive. It's like, let's go. I'm ready to do it for them. Yeah, like, let's go do this thing. And when the time is right, when everything is right, let's go. Let's get busy. The theater will be alive and well, man. We need it. Like, we need it. We need it. We need the theater. People need to go have cultural experiences and have it. And we're gonna get there soon. We're gonna come out the other side of this.
Absolutely. Is there a dream role, Josh?
I don't think there is, and I can say that confidently because I've thought about it. I don't think there is. I think there's something about, like, the roles that I've seen that could have been dream roles were things where you go, oh, they're dream roles because they were so well done, Mm-hmm. Like, there was a show at Second Stage called The Elaborate Entrance of Chad Deity. I don't know if you guys have heard of this show.
I don't know this. Oh my God.
Please look it up. It's a play, and it's about a masked wrestler. And it's about a masked wrestler. The Elaborate Entrance of Chad Deity.
She's literally writing it down.
I'm writing it down.
You're writing it down right now. Okay.
It was at the Second Stage maybe 5 to 8 years ago. And if they ever open that up again, if they do that somewhere, I'd love to do it. And then if you know what, I do have an answer. Holy cow! It just came to me.
What is it?
They're actually gonna see, but this is what I mean. They're about to do a revival right now of a show called Take Me Out on Broadway.
Are they?
They are. Yeah, they announced it last year, so I don't know where it is in production. Yeah, Jesse Tyler Ferguson is gonna play
that's amazing.
The Mason Marzak role. Yeah, and oh man, I forget my boy's name, but it's gonna be killer. I love that play. And when I came to New York, my junior year, my dad brought me up here to come look at NYU. We went and saw it. And at that point, it solidified in my brain. I was like, wait, they're doing a show about baseball, but they're actors? Because to me, my parents are from the island. Acting. ¿Qué? You want to do what? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try acting. Okay, well, whatever you want to do, Papi, you do, okay? You go and do the auditions and the plays. Okay, thank you, Ma, So my education was truly from my teachers in high school, Mrs. Mueller, Mr. Lowe, and Mr. Deuce. And when I got to New York, man, when I got to NYU, I learned I didn't know what this business was. I didn't know what it entailed. I just knew really, really basic stuff. And Take Me Out is one of those shows where, so the truth is there's no part for me in it. That's my long way of saying there's no part for me in this freaking show.
BS.
But I love it so much. Elaborate Entrance of Chad Deity. I don't know if there's a part for me in it, but I love it so much. I watched In the Heights a million times, but there's not really a part for me in it because
that's a lie. That is a lie.
Yeah, but they're too perfect at it. You know what I'm saying? So I just go and I just see all these things and I go, that's amazing. Let's go have some fun and see what I get to go craft along the way, Well,
I mean, may I remind you, if you have any producer friends who are itching to produce something, I happen to be a director. If you just say, hey, I want to do Elaborate Entrance, I'll go, listen, I got you.
This is very nice. See, this is good. Coming together.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm always ready.
Hey, but you're going to love that play. You guys are going to love it.
I'm very excited.
Really. It's a great read. And the way they did it was gorgeous. Second Stage. They made a really cool ring. I don't know if you guys got to see Rocky. That was also incredible technology that they used in Rocky. That was Alan Timber, same director as Beetlejuice. He did Rocky. Mm-hmm. So his eye is incredible for the stage, just the way he designs it. But the way they did Elaborate Entrance, they had a cool half ring set up, so it gives that nostalgia feel for wrestling fans. And they would do scenes in and out of it, and would change the whole structure of the stage with lights. It was awesome.
Heck yeah. That's exciting. I can't wait.
That's
I mean,
so cool.
I have nothing but time, so I'm definitely going to read it. Is he frozen? What's happening here? You frozen? Josh, you with us? Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
He's slightly frozen. It's all right. So while Josh is frozen, why don't we take this opportunity before we get him back, because we still have a couple more questions. We still have a game to play. As long as Josh unfreezes and returns to us. Josh, are you back?
Yes. Oh, we did it. Sad.
It happened.
We did it.
So, okay. So I have one more question for you, and then we have a game that we're going to play. So, okay. So you were part of one of the most iconic video game franchises of all time, Red Dead Redemption. So before we actually get into the question, we actually have a video that we're going to play for you. If we can.
Hey there, kids. Sorry I can't be there today. I'll take a rain check. Hopefully we can do it some other time. But listen, have fun with Josh. Josh, mate. Thanks a lot for your awesome work as Reyes, man. If you and Rob Wiedoff hadn't done such a great job, I wouldn't have had one, probably. Anyways, Outlaws for life. Have a blast. And happy holidays. Take care.
Cool, right?
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is so cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah, of
That
course.
is so cool.
Yeah, he actually
That
wanted to
is
join us for the stream, but he was unable to. So he's like, "Can I make you a video?" I'm like,
Oh, that is so cool. Wow. Honestly, I remember the audition for that. It was me going, what am I doing? You know, like this room where they go, just act like you are, what did they tell me? They're like, you are a conquistador. I was like, okay. And they're like, and they walked me through a scene. I was just kind of improvising the scene. They're like, and now you're a soldier and you're like moving through. I was like, okay. And we're kind of doing, of course, all the elements that we were going to turn into Reyes, you know, like this adventurer, this, oh man. And we sat in the booth for about 2 weeks, put together all those lines on my first video game I ever got to do. And it was incredible. And here we are with Red Dead Redemption, you know, and I love it because it's a little known fact, you know, so it's my thing that I hold very near and dear, that it's ended up being such a successful franchise. And here we are, you know.
Here we are. Heck yeah. Well, I feel like that answered my question better than the question I was going to ask. So at this point, why don't we just play this game? So Josh, this is a game of Would You Rather. There was no wrong questions. This is whatever you're feeling. And if you want to elaborate on your answer, fine. If not, we'll just move right along. So Danny, am I reading the first one?
Yes. You're
going backwards half of this.
Here we go.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Business.
Would you rather tag team with Stephen Amell or face off against Stephen Amell, which obviously now you've done a couple of times, but I'm talking in a ring.
Ooh, I'd tag team with Amell. Me and him, I could even see this right now. Me and him up against Daniels and Cody. Maybe a little SCU faction with Cody. Me and Amell, we can bring in, I don't know, maybe the Stinger. Who knows? That might be in line for next year.
Okay. Putting that out there into the universe. Let's see what happens.
Love it. All right. Our next one. Would you rather forget a line or have a wardrobe malfunction?
I would rather have a wardrobe malfunction for sure. I have forgotten lines on stage, and there are few places scarier than that giant white room that you go into when you forget a line on stage. I was doing a production of Around the World in 80 Days at a theater here next to Schmackery's in Hell's Kitchen, and I start the show with a newspaper in front of me, and all I remember this one night, I could not remember this line for the life of me. That place went silent. You start shivering. You start sweating. I'll take a wardrobe malfunction every day. I'll take it every day.
There you go.
I got to tell you, I haven't been an actor on a stage in probably almost 20 years. I still have the actor's nightmare sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. All the time.
And if anything, when you have a wardrobe malfunction, like, you know, something happens and you just like look at your actors, like your fellow actors on stage, and you're like, do you see my jacket? My jacket. You're like, don't worry. And it kind of, and then you end up talking about like, you remember when Josh's jacket ripped? They're like, yeah.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Here's the next one. Okay. Would you rather live in the Red Dead Redemption universe or in the Grand Theft Auto universe?
Well, I have a funny fact. I live in both. Actually. So,
right.
So the Red Dead universe, no, I'm good. That can stay in video game world for me. I'll leave Reyes there. after I did Red Dead, they had me back in the studio to voice like a bunch of random characters for the Grand Theft Auto that was coming out right after. So I can't remember if that was like 3 or 4. But I've never gone back and played it to see which characters I ended up being. But I'm like man number 4 at the trash can or whatever. But yeah, let's go Grand Theft Auto for sure.
Grand Theft Auto it is. All right.
All right. Our next one. Would you rather be in Arrow the musical or Sirens the musical?
That's great. Steve would kill me if I forced him to be in the Arrow the musical with me. So I think we'll go with Sirens the musical because I know that cast would just. Oh, I would love to see them singing and dancing. I would love to see them singing and dancing.
Amazing.
So, what would like the show-stopping musical finale of Sirens the musical be called?
What's your 11 o'clock number?
Oh my gosh! It would be called Hank. It would be called. I'm just trying to think of something for Kevin Daniels because if you guys know Kevin Daniels, I just want him in the 11 o'clock number. I want him to be our showstopper, and his name was Hank. My son's name is Hank, so I was gonna be like Hank the Tank is the 11 o'clock number. You know, it's just Kevin coming center stage, you know, as Hank, and all of us behind him razzling and dazzling. Or it'd be something with Teresa. It'd be like Teresa's boys, Jessica Maximum. Speaking of, my girl Jess, who plays T on that, she's about to be Sonya Blade in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Speaking about fight choreography, I've been seeing some of her
that's
training
gonna be
videos. She's about to be a bad ass.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah.
Also, I would happily watch the Sirens musical.
Yeah.
Especially Hank the Tank 11 o'clock number. That sounds brilliant.
There was I was joking at a con one time. My favorite fan theory was that that Hector, who I played on the Electric Company, became a cop. Billy got tired of everyone calling him dumb and making fun of him. And somewhere in that world, the Green Arrow killed his father. So he goes to become a lawyer, turns into Adrian Chase. That's just, it doesn't work. That's not how I see it. In my head, it made perfect sense. Because then Adrian Chase turns into the grifter, Hector, who becomes RuPaul's boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all coincides. You know?
It's the Joshiverse.
I think that's what it is. It's Earth 5. It's Earth 7. Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow. Okay.
Here's
the next one. Oh, okay. Would you rather be a member of the NWO or a member of DX?
NWO. I was an NWO kid all day. I was a Razor Ramon kid. Razor still is probably my favorite wrestler. I don't know if I have a favorite wrestler. I have many favorite wrestlers, but it's the Razor, you know? So those are the guys. I mean, my favorite shirt I have is the Bash at the Beach that Hogan turned heel. That is a prized possession. Yes, so I'm an NWO guy. I was a Wolfpack guy, the whole iteration. The Monday Night Wars were super important to me, of course. You know, I mean, yeah, for sure.
NWO?
For sure.
You got
Absolutely. I mean, some of my favorite content, if not my favorite stuff on the network, was all the Monday Night Wars documentary stuff, you know?
Oh, definitely.
The Something to Wrestles, you know, the Monday night one that Pritchard and Conrad do. It's my favorite one. There's just something about that time. I think for all of us, it's so nostalgic. It's such an important time. And, you know, it's just, the best. There's all those guys, man. All those guys on that screen.
Right? I know.
The first wrestler I ever saw in person was Billy Gunn at a Sports Authority. I was probably like 13. or so, and I was there with my boy Patrick, and he still makes fun of me to this day because we were in the checkout line, and I was buying Gatorade gum and something else that you buy at Sports Authority.
Hell yeah.
And in walks Billy Gunn. He was with his son. Of course, now, and even then I knew, but now I know that he was there in a rush to get his son something for a game because they were going to like a baseball game or something. But as a wrestling fan, I didn't know that. So he walks in, and I'm paying for something, and I just see go, oh my God, that's badass Billy Gunn. Oh my God, it's badass Billy Gunn. Badass Billy Gunn. Badass Billy Gunn. And I just start saying his name at the Sports Authority. And he like looks over. And my buddy's like, dude, just go say hi. I walked off. So he was very sweet, signed my thing and walked off.
Oh.
I just thought like random people screaming out your name, badass Billy Gunn at the Sports Authority.
Well, it's probably better that was his like name then, and you weren't like Mr. Ass over
yes,
here,
exactly.
Mr. Ass.
Exactly.
One of my favorite theme songs. I'm an ass man. Like,
Oh, it's the best. It's the
how do we
best.
get away with these things? I don't know. Boom, boom. All right. Anyway, next one.
Okay. All right, next one. Would you rather, oh God, have the ability to shapeshift or be immortal?
I think we're going shapeshift. I don't know. The immortal, that sounds intimidating. To be living forever the way the world is going, yo, I don't know. I don't even know if we're going to be here in 10 years, let alone, being immortal. No, it's such a cool picture seeing the Hulk shirt, just ripping it off. How many shirts did you guys try to rip off as kids? Like a gajillion. I tried to rip off, and then you realize that he had like the little slit. You're like, dude, you have to tell us that, Hogan. You didn't.
No, he's that strong.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, I took all the vitamins. I said my prayers,
Exactly.
but
You said the prayers.
I
You
don't know.
took the vitamins.
I have to
yeah,
say, so you were talking about meeting Billy Gunn. So I met
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart at an airport while I was with Mick Foley. And so, of course, they noticed Mick Foley. And they're like, hey, can you come with us? Can you come with us? And I'm like, where are we going? And they bring us over to like this closed section of the airport where there's Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Page and everyone's like all around and they're like trying to shout. And then they bring us in and I met Hulk Hogan and I was like, what is what is going like this? It was the craziest moment because like they really are larger than life, especially him.
100%.
Like he's
100%. And being from Orlando, where I grew up, we know now that every wrestler lives in Florida, pretty much. But it's funny because, as a kid, it was like legend that all the wrestlers lived in Orlando or Tampa. So as a kid from Orlando, I always thought I was going to see Hulk Hogan. I really did. Everywhere we went, if we went to Costco, I thought I was going to see Hulk Hogan. If we went to Walmart, Target, I thought I was going to see Hulk Hogan. I've only seen him once in my life. It was at a Nickelodeon flat taping, and I saw him from like. Remember that? Yeah, it was. I saw him from like 50 yards away because he was the guest that day, and I flipped out from 50 yards away. I'm not very good at meeting wrestlers. It's the truth. I have too many things I want to ask them, so I just either go silent or I start just hurling questions and don't establish to them one that like I'm an artist, so I promise I understand what you're saying because I go right into the fandom, So it's just for me, it's all fandom, I don't know how I do if I met the Hulkster today. I really don't. I don't know how I do.
Well, like next time that we have a wrestler back on here, Josh, you should join us, and then you could be one of our, special guests and co-host. Because I would love to hear what you have to ask,
Like, who is that third? Why did you guys have that third guy on there asking me all those questions? I'm like, no, that was Josh. And you're like, no, who's that random? He just peppered me with questions the whole time. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Maybe one. Oh no, a couple more. Okay. Would you rather sing a duet with Dolly Parton or lip sync for your life for RuPaul? And don't fuck it up.
I'm going lip sync for your life.
Shantae, you say.
I'd be too nervous. I'd be too nervous that I messed up the duet with Dolly because she's a legend. So I'm gonna go with the lip sync. And I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to hope I don't get sashayed away. But I feel like I would maybe do a Gloria Estefan number.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes. Something. It'd be something like that. It'd be like either J-Lo or Gloria, I feel like. That's what I would rock to.
Hell yes. Hell yeah. Well, I know that they were doing like the spin-off RuPaul shows where they were bringing in actors and actresses to, go and drag and compete. Josh, next season, Ru, if you're watching, longtime watcher, if you're watching RuPaul, Josh Segarra next season.
Next.
Please.
I was so mad we didn't get a second season of AJ because I knew that we were going to do that. I knew that I was going to get to do drag in the second season. I was going to get to do something. Like, you got to meet Hector at a different point in his life, or when he was getting to form the... Oh, so bummed, you know? But I'll get to do drag one day. I'm very excited about it. I'll get to do my Tu Wong Fu. I can't wait.
Oh my God, Tu Wong Fu would be ooh. Okay. So that would be a great role for you. Let's bring Tu Wong Fu.
I would love the
to Broadway. Let's bring it.
I would love it.
Happily.
I would love it.
Happily.
I would love it.
Happily.
All right. I think we have one more. Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
Danica?
Oh, would you rather receive a stunner from Stone Cold or be on the receiving end of a Scorpion deathlock?
I'm going stunner. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
The beer after.
Scorpion deathlock. Exactly. So I could be the rock. The deathlock and the sharpshooter actually hurt. How many times have you been putting them, and how many times have you delivered them? They are actually painful, right? Like, if you flex into that thing, you're hurting your boy, you're hurting your homie, or your back is breaking. The stunner, I want to take a stunner because I would love to sell for Stone Cold. I'd love to sell that stunner, you know? Nobody sold the stunner like Rocky did. He'd take his big jump out of the screen, you know, and I just loved it, man. I loved it. I saw a clip the other day on WrestleBotch, I think it was. I think he posted, I love WrestleBotch, such a great thread. He posted, I think it was Rocky I think Rocky told the story about him taking the stunner the first time, selling it like crazy, was to make Stone Cold laugh. So he was doing them to make him laugh at house shows, and then it stuck because it was the most ridiculous sell ever, where he's doing backflips and shit, you know? I love it, man. I love it.
Oh, man.
Great.
Well, Josh, we've kept you for an hour. We appreciate your time so much. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with here?
I've had a really good time. I really appreciate you guys, you know, and you guys keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate the kind words, and off we go. Let's go.
Off we go. Well, Danica, do you want to go over our upcoming schedule?
Sure. All right. Coming up on Thursday, we've got bassists Matt Riley and Derek Frank. The following Tuesday, we've got Rashad Santiago and Rick Prince from Face Off. The following Thursday, we've got Jeffrey Weissman, the actor. The following Tuesday, we've got Casey Jost.
From Impractical Jokers.
And other things. Thank you. So excited. And then on Tuesday, the 29th, we've got Jonah Ray. I'm so excited. And then again, on January 5th, our good buddy, Steve Gonsalves.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
For his 5th appearance.
Awesome.
But Josh, we would love to have you back in the future. I know things are going to start picking up soon, hopefully, but
yeah.
Thank you so much
I
again.
think the plan is to get a real ring up one day. So I'll see you guys when that happens, like we said, man.
Absolutely. And I will give you the best introduction to the ring that you've ever had. I got you.
And then soon after that, I'll be directing you in Tu Wong Fu, you know.
Yes, elaborate entrance of Chad Didi.
That's
We'll
right.
get a survival.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There we
This has
go.
been really great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Josh.
We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, I guess we'll see everybody on Thursday, and be safe, everybody. Okay.